For topic number one, I am going to talk about Kylian Mbappe and the ridiculous, crazy offer he was made. Now, I don't say ridiculous and crazy as in like he doesn't deserve it. Obviously, the market is the market. We talked about that plenty last week. And so I'm not going to sit here and say what the soccer market, is or what it should be or, what a player should get, what he should deserve. He's clearly one of the best players in the league, in the sport, in general, one of the best athletes out there. So he's going to get offered a lot of money, right? Because attention is money. Attention is the currency. Having the best player on earth at soccer on your team is clearly a great currency for your team. So you're able to throw out hundreds of millions of dollars to put that name on your jerseys, to get those viewers to watch your games, to give your team and your country some legitimacy in that sport. We've seen Saudi Arabia do this with golf. It worked. It actually really worked out for them. Many people were against it. Many people don't agree. We're not going to get into the politics of it because obviously that can have its own episode, its own, coverage. There are people out there who are very, negative on the side of Saudi Arabia and their money in sports. There are some who don't care. But again, that is a episode, topic for another day. That would take a whole episode. We'd be able to chop it up in just this episode. So let's go ahead and just bring this up. For those who may not know, Mbappe was offered a ridiculous one-year contract by Saudi Arabia's club Al Hilal, which totaled $1.1 billion. Now, 300 something million of that is for the transfer fee that they would be offering PSG. The other 776 million, I believe it was for Mbappe. I do think it was through different type of deals, like through advertising and all kinds of stuff, using his name, his image, his face, not just straight up the dollars for the deal. But again, that's a lot of money. A lot of athletes across sports. We're joking about this, as you can see here. We tweeted out on Rival a lot. We're joking about this. Apparently, this offer may not be accepted, as crazy as that sounds. And the reason I say that is because for you, me, the average person, even other athletes, millionaires, all across sports, this is a lot of money no matter how we slice it. This isn't like, oh, I can't relate. This is nobody can relate to getting 700 something million dollars for 1 year. Obviously, that's generational wealth. You would be able to take care of your kids. And that's not even to mention all the other hundreds of millions of dollars he's going to make throughout his career from outside of that one season deal. It's just crazy. It's absolutely insane, the amount of money. It gets even more insane when you think about the fact that he doesn't even want to play there. It gets even more insane when he may not even accept this offer. There's a lot of other rumors and controversy going on. Fabrizio Romano, Mbappe doesn't want to negotiate with Al Hilal. PSG sources believed he agreed to a secret pre-deal with Real Madrid, which is where Mbappe actually wants to play. PSG convinced Kylian only wants to sign for Madrid, and Al Hilal agreed terms with Ferretti as revealed. Talks on with PSG. So that's one of his teammates who are actually going to sign with that team. I believe it was like a 3-year deal the last time I looked at it. Again, they were trying to get multiple guys here. PSG happily, for those who don't know, PSG and Mbappe are kind of like in this little, rift. They're not happy with each other. Mbappe wants to go to Real Madrid free. He doesn't want, to deal with all the transfer fees and do all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, PSG is like, hey, we want to get money for you. We don't want to just let you go. I've seen things that they would be willing to let him sit the whole year if he was willing to do that. Obviously, that's not what they want. It's not what he wants. So it's going to get dicey. It's going to be, a tricky situation going on there in terms of, how that plays out. Mbappe is fighting for what he wants. PSG is fighting for what they want. And everyone else basically wants a slice at Mbappe, but they feel like Real Madrid either already has a deal in place or no one else is going to be able to pry him away from that dream that he has of playing there. So it's kind of useless. I mean, obviously you're seeing that in the idea that reports were out that he rejected this deal, that he rejected this contract. He has not confirmed that. I don't think any source close to him has personally confirmed that, but that's the vibe that everyone's getting. And that's what's being reported out there, is that he does not want to play in Saudi Arabia. Just to kind of give an idea of a comparison, Clutch Points put here to compare the magnitude of Mbappe's potential 1-year deal, how much he would make in comparison. He would make more than NBA's 17 highest paid players next season combined. This is Steph Curry all the way down to Zach LaVine. You add all that money up right there for next season for the top 17 players in the NBA. And what do you have? You have Mbappe making more than all of them. And you're going to see lots of comparisons like that in terms of, this because it's hard to quantify, honestly. It's hard to quantify this amount of money. It's hard to, make sense of it, how to, put it in a way that we understand it. Front Office Sports also tried to do that. They said here, this is how it kind of breaks down: 776 million for the season, 64.6 million a month, 14.7 million a week, 2.1 million a day, 88,500 an hour, $1,475 a minute, $24 a second. A second. Mbappe will be making a second what I'm assuming the majority of people don't make an hour. It's crazy. I'm not laughing in like a way that it's funny. It's just wild. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's unbelievable. It's just, again, something that it's hard for me to grasp my mind around, that he would not accept this deal. I understand you have dreams of playing for Real Madrid. I understand you're super young and want to, establish your legacy, which, while he's achieved a lot, can obviously do a lot more. Soccer is a very competitive sport, but as well as from the fans' perspective, like, you're going to hear arguments all day long, just like you would with NBA, Michael Jordan or LeBron or Kobe. You see that same thing in soccer. And then, especially when you consider Mbappe's age, he obviously hasn't had the time to put in what a lot of these other guys like Ronaldo, Messi, all these people who have put in. So he's always being compared to those guys. And so if he goes to somewhere like Al Hilal, he feels like, hey, this won't really help me establish my legacy at all. Obviously, it'll give mass fortunes that, he never could imagine, which is why I see it as a hard thing for him to pass up. I just see it as a very complicated situation for him. And I understand why it's tough, right? Like, you don't want to go there necessarily. You're not interested in playing there, but that money is hard to ignore. It's hard to ignore for anybody. And normally we're saying that about, a couple million or 10 million, or, we're talking about $700 million. And the funny thing is, I seen the tax breakdown for that. I'll show a tweet here later, not for the Mbappe situation, but another topic that we have where, taxes and stuff knock a person's salary down a bunch, right, in the United States. But over there, it was like 100 and something million would be taxed out to Saudi Arabia. But then after that, there's like no other taxes. I say after that, like it's nothing, 150 million. But when you take 150 million away from that initial offer, it's still crazy money. It's still ridiculous money. It's still absurd. So absurd that, again, like I said, athletes from all over the US have been tweeting about it. Draymond Green joking here. They got basketball leagues too, right? I don't think the ink on my contract has dried up yet. This is Draymond talking about, the Mbappe deal. Again, a lot of players, chimed in here. We also got a tweet from Giannis for the Bucks. He said, "Oh, you could take me. I look like Kylian Mbappe," which actually Mbappe responded to, which was interesting that he actually, acknowledged it. It was cool to see him having fun with it as well, even though it's a, like I said, a kind of a drama-filled situation with him and PSG, and a situation where he knows it's all good, right? Like, life is great for him at this point. Even the king himself, LeBron James, chimed in. "Me headed to Saudi when they call Rich Paul and Mav Carter for that 1-year deal. A little Forrest Gump, if I'm out. Peace." Again, obviously, I know these guys are all rich. They're all at the top of their game. They're all joking, but they're not. But they're not. Like 700 million. I think LeBron, Draymond, and guys will go over and play soccer for 700 million right now, and that ain't even their sport. It's $700 million. Like, again, I'm really interested to see how this plays out. I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think Mbappe is going to take this offer? Do you think he actually is going to have it in him to chase his dream team, to chase his legacy, and, ignore the 1 year of downtime? It's not even downtime. He'll still be establishing, doing things, accomplishing things, being productive. But do you think he can actually push that away? All that money, one season, for everything else that he dreams of. Do you think it's possible? Let us know in the comments. I want to know your thoughts. We got to continue this conversation. It's definitely conversation worthy, because we're not going to see many of these type of situations. It's just, it's absurd. It's craziness. It's madness. So I want to know what you guys think. Let us know in the comments, and we'll continue that conversation there.